Elite Facts presents
10 tricks professional chefs use in the kitchen that you're doing wrong.
8.
Burgers. So, who here has made burgers from scratch? And how often have they turned out either too thin, too thick, or too dry? Well, would you believe us if we told you that the shape of the burger greatly contributes to its final outcome? To make a perfectly shaped burger, don't form it in your hands. Of course, use your hands to make sure that the whole thing is together, but don't shape it. To get it perfectly round for cooking, throw the meat on a cutting board. Doing this will cause it to splat into the right shape, thus allowing the burger to cook evenly. Plus, by throwing it on your cutting board, you'll also be preventing air bubbles. After you've done this, start pressing a dimple into the middle of the patty to keep it from puffing up too much, and bon appetit.
7.
Brining food before cooking is a common method for multiple foods. Okay, if you've done rice or fresh French fries from scratch, then you know what we're talking about. It's where you let the raw food item soak in water until it's ready to be cooked. For rice and French fries, this is a method for removing the starch. But did you know that it's common for restaurants to brine chicken? Usually we'll just prep the chicken with whatever seasonings we want and throw it in the oven and cook it. Well, apparently we've been doing it wrong. Chef Marcus Samuelson's trick to making his famous Red Rooster fried chicken is to simply brine it before cooking it. This easy step of soaking it in cold salt water adds a ton of flavor and makes the meat perfectly tender. Who would have thought that soaking it in salt water would make all the difference? Also, for French fries, if you brine them, add a bit of salt to the water to help maximize the flavor.
6.
Perfect scrambled eggs. How can you go wrong with scrambled eggs? They're the easiest thing to make. Well, even though it's almost impossible to mess up, it doesn't mean you can't improve how you make them. Heston Blumenthal, chef and owner of the Fat Duck, cooks his scrambled eggs over a double boiler to make them soft, buttery, and custard-like. The low heat slowly cooks them and prevents them from drying out. And that's exactly how you get perfect eggs every time.
5.
Cast iron pans for cooking meat. In an interview with Bon Appetit, Chef Justin Smiley of Il Buco Alimentari and Veneria said, quote, "Cooking with a cast iron pan gives you an incomparable crust for both vegetables and meat. To clean ours, we just douse it in oil and salt and burn it out, then wipe it clean."
4.
Everything is cooked with butter. Okay, so if you're on a health kick, maybe skip this tip and stick to either olive oil or 1% low-calorie oil spray that you can buy at your local supermarket. When asked what makes the difference between restaurant and home-cooked food, the answer is always don't use any oils. This includes olive oil, vegetable oil, and sunflower oil. Instead, restaurants tend to use butter instead. Butter is one of the first things a lot of chefs bring up. It has a higher smoke point than olive oil and adds a lot of flavor to meats and vegetables. Butter also adds that silky, creamy texture to sauces and makes everything richer. If you have any doubts, try an experiment. The next time you make some sort of sauce, tomato sauce, barbecue sauce, or pepper sauce, just to name a few, taste it at the very end, then stir in a pat of butter and taste it again. That's all the convincing you'll need.
3.
Prep work is essential. Okay, this might be a problem if you're a person who always decides on what you're having for dinner at the last minute, but it's still worth taking note of. If you've ever had that moment of panic when it's time to add the onion and you realize that you forgot to dice it ahead of time, then you know that having all of your ingredients measured, chopped, and ready to go can make all the difference. A proper mise en place, translated French means set in place, includes everything from the cooking oil to the finishing spices and ensures that you're as efficient as possible. It may seem like it's just more dishes to wash, but once you see how much easier it makes things, those prep bowls will feel like a good investment.
2.
Let your meat rest. Okay, stop laughing, that's not what we meant. That's how you get a perfect steak in a restaurant. The chefs don't handle their meat that much and tend to leave it until it's ready to cook. Now, okay, we get that waiting for your food in a restaurant is annoying and all, but if you want to get the most out of your steak, You've just got to be patient. If you slice into a steak as soon as it's done, it's just letting all those delicious juices run right out, and that's no good. The liquid is concentrated in the center right after cooking, so letting meat rest for a few minutes gives the juices time to redistribute, so they stay put when you eventually cut into it. For a steak that's not too thick, 5 to 10 minutes should be sufficient, but when it comes to a larger cut, you may need to wait much longer for it to be ready for serving. Now let's just hope that chefs clean the counters after handling their meat thoroughly like that.
1.
Stock is made from scratch. Sorry, but if you want the perfect gravy or broth, you've got to put the time and effort into it. That's how restaurants do it, and adding in stock cubes isn't an option for them. Don't get us wrong, stock cubes are incredibly useful when it comes to saving time, and they do taste nice if the gravy or broth is done just right, but making it from scratch is actually a lot easier than it sounds, and you don't really even need to buy anything. You can use the bones from meat you cook during the week and the scraps, ends, and extra pieces of produce. Throw it all in a pot, cover with water, and boil for an hour or two. Voila, stock from scratch. And that's our list. Did we leave any out that you know about? Let us know in the comments below. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.